is up, fellow Hoops fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV. And as always, we are brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au. It is Friday morning. Friday morning means old mate Benyam Kidane from NBA Australia. BK, what is happening, my brother?
Good to be with you, my man. Happy Friday. How you living?
I'm living good, man. I'm living good. I know you're happy this morning, actually. We're going to get straight into it, BK. I know you're very happy this morning. Yesterday, you did an article about, we're going to kick it off the show with this. You did an article about Isaiah Thomas playing in the G League, had a really impressive showing there, 42 points. And this morning, about 20 minutes ago, we just saw that he's been signed by the Los Angeles Lakers on a 10-day contract. BK, talk to me. Tell me. I can see the excitement just oozing out.
It's the slow grind. The marathon continues. Welcome back, Isaiah Thomas. It's been too long since this man's been in the league. We last saw him with the Pelicans last season on that 10-day. And, he said, just this week, how close he came to signing with the Lakers in the offseason until Rondo copped that buyout and they went in that direction. But to be honest, I'm surprised it's taken him this long to get back in the league. I mean, everyone knows what he can do. He's finally healthy again. We saw him hooping with Team USA in the summer as well. So for him to stick with this, go via the G League route, just kind of shows you how much he wants this. So congrats to IT. The Lakers, they've got a lot of holes in their roster with a lot of players entering the health and safety protocol. So they need some cover on this bench.
Yeah, it's big, like you said, that journey for IT to go. I mean, this guy was an all-star in the NBA. And then to just kind of like humble himself and say, all right, this is the kind of route that I need to go now and go back to the G League and sort of do it the hard way. Shout out to him. He's a great guy. I interviewed him a couple of times when I was over in the US. Big sneaker guy as well. So we always used to chop it up about, the latest sneakers and all that sort of stuff. So shout out to him. How much is he going to help? Like you said, this Lakers roster has a lot of holes in it. They're lacking in a lot of departments. How much is he going to help them? And, look, it's going to be tough, BK, on a 10-day to sort of show what he's able to do, right? He's probably not going to get a ton of minutes. Maybe I'm wrong. How much is he going to help them over the next, 10 days or so?
Well, as it stands, they've got Westbrook, Avery Bradley, Malik Monk, Dwight Howard, and Taylor Horton-Tucker all in the COVID-19 protocol. So they actually really do need Isaiah Thomas. They signed him obviously under the hardship protocols, hardship exception. So you can go above the 15-man roster to get him on there. So he does have a window here to impress, whether that turns into something more concrete with the Lakers or really an audition for another team if he's out there hooping for the Lakers. So I like this move from the Lakers, because they just need some bodies on the roster for the next few games. I'm just excited to see him back because that's kind of been his thing is that, it's not like he lost it or anything. Like this man had a serious injury, derailed his career, and he's taken this, as he says, the slow grind back to get to this point. But he's back healthy now. We saw him dropping that 42 and 8 and 6 and hitting threes. Like this guy can still play. He's only 32 years old. People, just kind of forget because he has sort of been in and out of the league for the past couple of seasons. But the Lakers, I think they're 11th in bench points, so they have been getting some production from their bench, but the way the roster's kind of looking over the next 10 days or so, there's a real chance for him to come in and get some buckets.
Yeah, and those COVID protocols, we're going to get stuck into that in a minute as well. It's really killing a lot of teams right now over in the US. A lot of guys going out. We'll get into that in a minute, BK. I want to just continue on the Lakers a little bit longer. They had an overtime win yesterday. It was taking their record now to 5-1, I believe, in overtime games. They're the overtime kings this season. They're 16 and 13 on the season now, BK. Their only overtime loss was a triple overtime game against Sacramento. 6 and 3 in their last 9, 16 and 13 on the season, BK. I don't want to go as far as to say that they're back because they beat a Mavs team without Luka. They've beaten OKC, they've beaten Orlando, they've beaten Sacramento. So the level of competition that they're playing, that they're beating is not exactly the best, BK. But they're showing me some signs that they can potentially get their season back on track.
Yeah, I mean, they're competing. I mean, it took an Austin Reeves game winner to get them there. But if you look at their sort of recent play, LeBron has obviously been incredible during this 8-9 game run. But Russell Westbrook has low-key really, really improved and kind of found his footing with this team. He was obviously had some struggles to start this season, just trying to fit in and trying to figure out where he could kind of help this team. But I like what I've seen from Russ. It was always going to be, I think, a longer process to get him integrated into the roster. And whilst him and LeBron have been good, now we're kind of looking at AD like, all right, we need to get you going now. So it's once they kind of figure out all three of them on the same page, I could be misguided, but I still believe the Lakers have enough to maybe do something this season once they can kind of figure it all out.
Yeah, see, that's where you and I disagree, BK, because I think they can win some games, I think, in the regular season, but I just don't think that they have a roster built to go deep in these NBA playoffs. One guy I want to talk to you real quick, again, on the Lakers, is Carmelo Anthony. His shots per game seem to have gone down over maybe, I think, the last 8 or 9 games. Is this a concern, BK, for the Lakers?
Yes and no. I think Melo probably got out the gates quicker than anybody could have expected this season, but I'm not too fussed. Melo's a guy that you're kind of looking at more for the postseason than the regular season. He can get up shots off the bench in big games. So what he does during the regular season, I think, will ebb and flow as they try and sort of figure out their roster construction. But yeah, maybe the 6th Man of the Year campaign might have come to a premature end.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was paying $34 last time I mentioned that he could be a sneaky dark horse. I don't know if I'd be putting money on that right now, but yeah, the Lakers have got the Timberwolves and the depleted Bulls, over the next 2 games, and then they've got a matchup with the Suns. So we'll see how they fare. Speaking of the Timberwolves, BK, Anthony Edwards, he had 38 points on a very efficient 14 of 21 from the field and 10 of 14 from 3-point range yesterday. Wolves get the W over the Nuggets. Youngest player in history to hit 10 triples in a game. He's just 20 years old. BK, he's one of those guys. We spoke about it earlier in the season where, I felt like the Timberwolves have had some guys that have come in, high draft picks with a lot of potential and then have just been very inconsistent. Andrew Wiggins being one of them. I kind of thought that maybe Edwards would be another one of those guys, but he's showing us that he's guys for real, isn't he, BK?
Bro, this kid can play, and the confidence he plays with is incredible. We saw him kind of lighting up Cat a couple of weeks ago, more encouraging him in terms of what he should be doing out there with double teams and that kind of thing. And that kind of leadership from a second-year guy, from a 20-year-old to kind of be the voice of this team now. And just the improvement in his game. He was never a shooter per se. Now I think he's up to about 36% from the 3-point line. He's getting him up to, I think he's getting up about 8 a game. But there was one yesterday where he hit that sort of, 5 dribble combo, James Harden like step back 3. And I was like, oh, okay, you didn't have that last season. And the fact that, he's playing at such a high level for this team. He really is the leader of this team now. This is his team. Karl Anthony Towns is a great player, but in terms of an attitude and a confidence, Ant-Man is really, he's taken that in stride.
No, absolutely. And again, he's just 20 years old. So to be
crazy
with his level, it's phenomenal. Just to be playing with this level of confidence. We've actually got a tweet that I want to put up as well, because there was another interesting stat that I saw. He's the 7th player in NBA history to score 2,000 points in his first 100 games at age 20 or younger. And now look at this list, BK. We've got Carmelo Anthony, Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Zion Williamson. When you talk about, some guys that can put up numbers, that's a pretty impressive list. And now Anthony Edwards is on that too.
Yeah, that's a generational list. You got 3 number 1 picks in there, some future Hall of Famers. And again, as you said, it just stands out. It's the age. He's only 20 years old. That 10 threes record that he hit as well. He broke Kyrie's record, which was, I think, 22 years old. So it kind of just shows you the way the game has kind of gone as well. But the fact that he's putting himself alongside that kind of company and just the development that we've kind of seen from his scoring and leadership, everything about this guy. I mean, there was a lot of questions about whether he should have been the number 1 pick. LaMelo Ball kind of took the headlines last season, but now as we're sort of starting to go on, and it's still obviously very early in their careers, but right now it looks like the Minnesota Timberwolves hit with the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I think if we're going to start doing one of those, draft revisions in a few years' time, it's going to look like it was correct.
Yeah, they can sleep at night taking Edwards with the number 1 pick.
Yeah. No dramas there at all. BK, a couple more things just quickly I want to touch on before we get onto the COVID protocols that I want to speak about. Devontae Graham, big game winner yesterday. 65 feet, basically just heaved this thing up to win the game for the Pelicans. I've never seen that before, BK, and I've been watching the NBA for 30 years now. Have you?
The thing that was crazy about this was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's shot just before to tie it up. That was like a 40-foot floater from the logo. Like, that shot in itself was crazy. And then for Graham to just scoop it up and let it fly from his own 3-point line like that, you could see it on the Thunder players' faces. Like, they couldn't believe what they'd just seen. The fact that someone had banked in a 60-footer to win the game, and a game that very much looked destined for overtime. This was a crazy finish to a game.
That looked to me like I was watching it and I was like, it looked like a Tom Brady to Randy Moss play back in the 07 season for the New England Patriots. BK, I want to ask you just real quick. Sorry, Zion Williamson. There was a reports come out this morning. That foot is taking a hell of a lot longer to heal, apparently, than initially thought. They've sort of given, I think, a timeline now of mid-Jan or mid-Feb or something like that. But BK, this is not good for the New Orleans Pelicans. You've got your franchise player, the guy that you sort of banked everything on. Apparently, I read a report last week that he was up to like 330 pounds. So he's out of shape. Foot's taken a lot longer to heal. A guy that relies on explosiveness and athleticism like he does. This is just not good, BK. It's not good.
Yeah.
I see him being out all season, to be perfectly honest.
Well, to be honest, if he's going to be out till February, I mean, the Pelicans, they're going to finish with a bad record. You may as well shut him down for the season, make sure he gets right. And if he can come back maybe for the tail end of the season just to get some reps in, so be it. But I mean, I don't think this is a situation where you want to rush anything. It's not like they're on the cusp of making the playing tournament or really doing something. If they're still going to be down the bottom of the Western Conference standings, the priority is to make sure long-term Zion Williamson is good to go for the New Orleans Pelicans. Because as you said, they've invested everything into Zion being their guy. So it sucks. It's another potentially lost season for a guy who he's a box office attraction. This is a guy people want to watch, and especially for a small market like New Orleans. They want to try and keep him there. They want to try and build something around him for the future. So it's tough, especially for a guy who showed so much in that short period when he was on the floor. That cameo in his rookie season, and then what he sort of followed up with. I just wanted to get healthy and get back out to what we saw. When he first hit the court with the Pelicans, because he's a phenomenal player.
Yeah, he is. I mean, 21 games in his rookie season, 61, 2021, and he was an all-star that season as well. So when he is healthy, we know what kind of player he is. He's very exciting. We do wish him well, and hopefully we get to see him on the court sooner than later. BK, the COVID protocols, we do need to talk about this. 60 NBA players have entered the health and safety protocols this season, 43 over the last 2 weeks, 13 on Tuesday or Wednesday alone. I can't remember the exact day. I'm pretty sure it was Tuesday, which was a season single day high. There's talk about maybe does the NBA put the season on hold? They definitely won't suspend the season, I don't think. Is there a chance we go back into a bubble, BK? What's some of the vibes you're getting about this?
I don't think so. I think what's more likely, I guess what we've seen with the Raptors as well, they've reduced their capacity at their home arena down to 50%, and reinforcing the mask mandates. I think what we're going to see is the league kind of going back to what things were at the start in terms of increased testing. The protocols are going to become a lot more rigorous. I think they're going to try and do everything they can to keep guys on the court, but it will just be a little bit more of a pain in terms of what they have to do in terms of testing and isolating and that kind of thing. So it will be a little bit more of a burden on the players. But as you said, the rate that these kind of cases are kind of climbing back into the league. We're seeing games postponed. It's tough because it does look like it is, heading in that direction, which is not great for anybody.
No, yeah, games are being postponed. I mean, the Nets had 8, I think, which is the league minimum, players on the roster to suit up last week in that game. You mentioned the Lakers guys that are out at the moment. It's just, Giannis. They got my man Giannis.
They got the entire Chicago Bulls.
They've got the entire Chicago Bulls. It's, guys are dropping at a very fast rate. So I do think they're going to go that route. They're definitely not going to suspend this season. They're not going to put it on pause. There is just too much money at stake, and they've already lost a ton of money, when COVID first hit, and then obviously when they went into the bubble. So I don't think they're going to do that. I've been seeing on Twitter a lot of people talking about, I was in an arena. They weren't testing. They weren't doing this. They weren't doing that. So I think the NBA is going to be a lot more strict with those kinds of things. And hopefully for all our sakes, NBA season keeps on rolling. BK, we're going to end it with the predictions. We're going to take a look at some games as we always do. Only 4 games on the NBA schedule today. Indiana Pacers, Detroit Pistons, Pacers. Big favorites here. $1.20. Detroit Pistons, $5. The line is at 10. Total is at 209.5. This one's live on NBA League Pass. BK, will the Detroit Pistons ever win again? They're bad. They've lost 12 in a row. You look at the standings. Indiana's, the Pistons are last. Indiana's, I believe, 12th in the standings. They're 12 and 18 on the season. They're 13th in the East, but they're only 3 games out of that 8th spot. So they're not, when you look at the standings, they're not as bad as it may suggest. Detroit is, though, and this one's going to be a big and easy win for the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, I think you and the odds definitely have a point there. You joke about the Pistons, but who knows when they'll win again?
I just don't see it happening. All right, next game we've got up on the schedule, the 76ers and the Nets. This one should be a good one, BK. 76ers favorites here, $1.75. Brooklyn Nets, $2.14. The line is at 1.5, and the total is at 216.5. Live on ESPN today. The Nets have hit a little bit of form, but they've got a bunch of guys out. 76ers have lost 2 in a row. They've got a better record away from home than they do at home, BK. This one's at the Clays. You know what? I'm going to go with Philly in a tight one on this one.
I'm with you on this one. They got to bounce back from that game in Miami just 24 hours ago against Kyle Lowry in the undrafted brigade in Miami. This is a big game, big ESPN game. So I'm backing the Sixers to bounce back in this one.
All right, we agree on that one there. Next game up on the schedule, we have the New York Knicks and the Houston Rockets. The Knicks, $1.53. The Rockets, $2.63. The line is at 5. Total is at 215. This one's live on NBA League Pass. BK, I haven't picked the Knicks since I said I wasn't going to pick the Knicks. But honestly, look, the Rockets are 7-3 in their last 10. All 7 wins have come at home. This one is at home. Knicks are favorites. I'm going to go with the Rockets in this one here, and not just because I said I wouldn't pick the Knicks anymore. The Rockets have been playing really, really well at home. They've showed a bit of life over the last couple of weeks. I think they win it today.
You've been a believer in the Rockets revival this season, so I can't knock you for that one. But I'll mix it up and rock with your Knicks. If you can't pick them, I will.
Fair enough. All right. Someone's got to do it because I told you.
I have no attachment here. So.
Yeah. All right. Last NBA game on the schedule today. We've got the Phoenix Suns and the Wizards. Phoenix Suns, big favorites, $1.24. Wizards, $4.40. The line is at 9. Total is at 213. And this one's live on NBA League Pass. BK. Wizards have lost 2 in a row. Suns had a gritty win against the Blazers the other day, really grinded that one out, which was very impressive for me, actually. Devin Booker, BK, is he back just yet or no?
That is a great question. I think he's still on the sideline, so this will be the Chris Paul show in this game. I think Book's still got a little while to get back on the floor.
Yeah, D-Book is still out, but I think the Suns have got more than enough to take care of Washington. Yeah, take care of the Washington Wizards at home. They should do that comfortably. A couple of NBL games we're going to take a look at, and then we're out of here. We've got the Illawarra Hawks playing the New Zealand Breakers. Breakers yet to win this season, BK, 0-3. Illawarra, $1.36. They're actually a tough team. The line is at 6. The total is at 170 there. The Hawks are tough. They're going to be a championship favorite, championship contender this season. New Zealand, not very good. This one's going to be easy for me. Illawarra in an easy one.
Yeah, say less. The Hawks have got this one covered. I think, as you said, the Breakers haven't won, and I think they'll have to wait a little bit before their first win.
I think they might be the Detroit Pistons of the NBL this season.
Don't do them like that.
One more NBL game to take a look at for tonight. Perth Wildcats, Brisbane Bullets. This one should be a good one as well. Cats favourites, $1.40. Bullets, $2.95. The line is at 6. Total is at 168. This one's live on ESPN BK. The Wildcats, 2-1 on the season. The Bullets, 1-1. I'm going with Perth in this one here, in a close one, actually. I think this is going to be a very good game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them duke it out in OT earlier, so I think this one's going to be a spicy matchup, but I like the Wildcats in this one as well.
Yep, there we go. We agree on that one there. BK, before we go, I just want to touch on your Sydney Kings, mate. What happened there last night?
Man, that was tough. I don't know what happened. A tough one for the Kings. Melbourne United were doing them bad. They just couldn't make a shot in that first quarter. That was a tough one for the Kings.
Like we said prior to the show, I didn't think Melbourne United were that good in terms of a squad that season to keep the Sydney Kings to just 50 odd points. But wow, we'll see. We'll see how the Kings bounce back from that one this weekend. BK,
minus setback for major comeback. Let's go.
There you go. It's going to be the Isaiah Thomas story for the Sydney Kings. BK, thank you very much. We'll see you again on Monday morning. This has been the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au, and we shall see you guys on Monday morning.